setting up the bass drum. Just a few simple steps and you'll be ready to go. So first off, we want to bring the spurs down. And a lot of bass drums have different settings, like different variations they can do. My Oak Custom set has one. Let me get the other side. All right, each bass drum has like a padded portion of the spur, or it actually has the spur itself, which is a sharp piece in there. Now, if you're on, say, a wood floor and you don't have a carpet, you want to make sure you use the rubber padded portion. It'll grip the floor pretty decently, but you normally want a carpet. And if you are on carpet, you can dig these feet in a little bit by raising this back, and it'll expose this spur piece, this little sharp piece, and it'll dig into the carpet and your bass drum won't move. Now, additionally, when you set up your bass drum, make sure there's about a hand's length in here where the bass drum rim is off the floor. We don't want it to be sitting directly on the floor. It messes with the resonance a little bit, and also when we put the bass drum pedal on, it allows the beater to touch the head at a more flat angle instead of having to go forward to touch that head. Now with the hi-hat, we have a few more components than we do with the bass drum. Initially when setting it up, if you have a hi-hat that has 2 feet that come off, make sure those 2 sit flat. If you have the tripod like this, make sure all 3 are sitting flat, and that this midsection is also on the ground. Notice that this midsection has spurs on the bottom. These will also help dig into the carpet. Now, that helps it from moving away from you. And some of these hi-hat stands have little adjustments on the side to move this portion around. Say if you have like a double kick pedal and you got the slave over here, it's really difficult to just put it right there, so you want to move these off a little bit. It's really handy. Now, mine has a lock, a memory lock. Very important to use these. 1, so that you can set up real easy, and 2, so that you don't have to crank your hardware down super tight just to hold the hi-hat stand in place. You can use that to assist. Now, on this one, you also notice there's a screw underneath where the bottom hi-hat will sit. This is to help offset the cymbals just a tiny bit to help avoid airlock. Airlock is when both cymbals clap together at the exact same time. They kind of stick together and they have kind of a nasty sound to them. We don't want that. All right, now putting the cymbals onto the stand. A very important part of setting up the hi-hat is making sure we have the correct amount of felts. Please make sure you have the right felts for the job. We have 1 felt, sometimes there's a rubber pad, but 1 felt that goes underneath the hi-hat. And then we also have a washer of some type. Make sure there's a washer there, or else this screw is just going to go into the felt and not help very much. So we have washer, we have a large felt, and most of the hi-hats nowadays have them labeled bottom hi-hat or top hi-hat. Make sure the bottom one, which is normally a little thicker, goes on bottom. Now, very important, we have our clutch that we use for the top hi-hat. Notice this one has 2 locking nuts up top, a felt, okay? Also notice a felt underneath. I've came to schools and all sorts of configurations where they just had metal on metal. Let's not go there. You don't want to damage your cymbals. So make sure you've got a felt on both sides, and then we're ready to go. And now our hi-hat is set up.